Alright, back to comments, I guess. I'll get back to the reading. And I don't know if this audience, I don't know if it makes any difference. But it's good to have it as a oral rendition. Anyway, so back to that soon. But we'll do the idiots, the assholes, the whatever. So, logical imperialist, who, I don't know why do you bother? I just don't really understand. Why do you watch my videos? Why do you bother with this nonsense? I mean, why? I mean, you say things that are just kind of incredible. Like, it's impossible to change Gary's mind. Well, yeah, I guess you'd have to, like, show where Gary was wrong about something, and you haven't done that ever. Like, ever. In the history of forever. Okay. The only one who even remotely changed the idea Gary had was Modern Mystic. Far, far back. It didn't really change an idea. He inspired a way of thinking in terms of, you know, the fact that I can affect you more than I can affect me. You know, simple kind of logic. So you write all this stuff and you think this is going to affect me somehow. And that's the part that just amazes me. So you're conceding that you've been watching for years, way, way far back. Gary's mind can't be changed, and that, yes, I will not believe in your Jeebuses, no matter what form it takes. Okay, you have to actually make something called a logical argument, not the argument from, fuck you, I'm smarter than you, or something. I mean, whatever. I don't expect not to be called a fucktard, or don't even expect that you're going to read this. Well, I do read the comments. That's another one. So I'm supposed to think, hey, this guy has something to say. He's smart. He's intelligent. He has something brilliant to say. And you don't realize that I've always made comment videos and that I read comments, blah, blah. You have the expectation I don't read most of the comments? Idiot. Or that you're able to understand its content. So, yeah, right. You're going to say something too smart. No, I don't think so. You can't even figure out, you know, the simple thing. Anyway, but here is the proof of hidden variable theory cannot produce better productive success. Well, again, predictive success than the standard model. It's not proof. Doing math to say that, let me see, how's a good way to say it? You know, to say that well, somebody's going to bring up Goebbels later. Goebbels, whatever the fuck his name was. Goebbels, whatever. Needed a better name, that's for sure. Supposed to be a smart guy. Couldn't figure out to change his name to something more pleasant, like Barf. But anyway, what was I? Yeah, all these little math tricks mean absolutely nothing, right? Again, you can make things do things that aren't possible with math that isn't in some way realistic or doesn't have all the little variables in it. So you could mathematically model a combustion engine, but if you don't have somewhere in the math that the steel can't get too hot, that this can't happen, that, you know, you have to have all those little regulator formulas in there, or your model will fundamentally fail. That's just the truth. You have to have some knowledge that of all those little elements of the octane of the gas, the limits on the octane of the gas, all that kind of stuff. And that's why this stupid math of Einstein's fails, is because it creates paradoxical circumstances that can't exist in any fucking reality. Like singularities and like, you know, some sort of stupid speed of light circumstance where you end up seeing somebody's death before you see their birth. I mean, so yeah, nice try, but fuck you. Yeah, I mean, it's just silly. Oh, we've proven that getting it wrong is the best way to go. So it does not matter that it is inaccurate. Okay, so again, so what's the point, right? What's the point of somebody doing the unification theory when all you people would just do is reject it, right? Now, unless Einstein proposed it, or Feynman proposed it, or one of these fucking clown physicists proposes it, right? A Kaku or something. It can't be possibly true, right? You're just going to reject it on its face. No way. Can't happen. You can't do it. It's not possible. I mean, you're just acting like an asshole, and then to say something as stupid as so it doesn't matter that it's accurate. I mean, you're saying that somehow inaccuracy wouldn't improve it. I mean, accuracy wouldn't improve something that's inaccurate. Functional, but inaccurate. I mean, it's just stupid. I mean, yeah, you could probably use a bamboo pole and a piece of, yarn and go fishing. But it probably would be better to have the right tackle, the proper reel and the proper rod and the proper line. Right, asshole? Yeah, there probably is a way to maximize it and get more productivity out of it. So to say that we have maximized predictive success, I mean, it's just so silly anyway, predictive success. I'm so sick of hearing about these non-existent predictions. These weren't predictions, okay? Einstein knew about the mercury thing. He knew about fucking ideas of gravitational lensing. So don't talk about how he predicted something. I think he engineered a theory that would account for these things. So fuck you and your predictions. I mean, really, predicting that, well, because grandfather clocks tick slower when they're moving at high speed, so do, battery-operated clocks, and so do blah, blah, blah. That's not really a prediction, jackass. Your theory, which is by definition a hidden variable. Well, again, you say it's by definition a hidden variable. You're saying that any definition that accounts for... Well, again, I don't even have to worry about a hidden variable because I never turned the fucking goddamn particle into a wave, so I don't have to find some reason why particles can't do diffraction when they interact with electrons, because that's already a fact that Feynman will draw you diagrams of. Feynman would have drawn you a diagram of an electron's interaction with a photon. He just wasn't, he wasn't rational enough to say, well, why wouldn't I think there's electrons around the surfaces of slits? Alright, anyway. Cannot produce better predictive success than, say, many worlds' interpretation of quantum mechanics. So it's just so silly. I would love to see what you predict that actually has anything to do with reality from many worlds. It is absolutely useless nonsense. It's drivel. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. It doesn't change any reality whatsoever. It's a silly explanation. They have to come up with an explanation, so they came up with many worlds. But it doesn't change anything. So to say it predicted something is idiotic. Many worlds never predicted anything in its goddamn fucking life, you creep. There are few physicists hidden variable theoreticians these days. I know of about 2. I don't care. Even if you got through Bell's theorem, well, again, I don't really give a fuck about Bell's theorem either. I mean, look, all this math, again, I can just keep pointing to Einstein's perpetual motion machine of bent space, where he can make his gravity well as deep as he wants. He has an endless source of energy. Right, he can turn the whole universe into a speck of dust, even though anybody with any kind of brain says no, energy doesn't do that, quite obviously, and certainly matter doesn't do that. So that's quite idiotic on its fucking goddamn face. The mechanism doesn't work that way. You think magnets still work when you compress them into the singularity? Fuck. Even if you got through Bell's theorem, a paper I linked does produce a proof that even non-local variables cannot produce better predictive success. Again, this prediction. Prediction of what? Prediction of what? You can't even, you can't even in any way measure photons. Okay, in any kind of rational way. You can't even detect them rationally. So don't tell me you can predict where something's going to be or something else. Those equations are already written. We already know those predictive things. So what new predictive success are you talking about? You're not predicting anything. Predicting the results of what? Show me a prediction you're goddamn making with this stupid drivel that isn't already just based on the basic formula that, yes, you'll have a dark band and a light band. The same fucking formula Newton had. I mean, Newton already knew of the fucking band, so don't tell me that you predicted something. You didn't predict shit. Alright. I mean, this is just such an overstatement. You can't see how that's grotesque overstatement. Amazing. The two physicists have known far more sophisticated interpretation of quantum mechanics than in Mendham's. So what's their interpretation? Why don't you link to it? I mean, I'd like to hear, what's their interpretation? Are they still using waves, idiot? Fuck, gotta say your model is simply wrong. Well, again, you can say anything you want, but you don't demonstrate with anything called logic. You don't demonstrate how that can't work, that won't work, it doesn't explain lightning, or it doesn't explain this, or it can't explain that. You haven't pointed to one motherfucking cunt thing that it can't fucking goddamn explain. Because the truth is, every time somebody points me at something and I need to explain it, it perfectly explains it. So go ahead, point to something, jackass, that it doesn't, that you have some real evidence that it can't explain. Go ahead, point me to it. I mean, you know, people, muons. Well, muons are perfectly right up my alley, okay? I mean, I got the perfect explanation for what happens to them and why they metabolism slows down, and so obviously they decay slower. Duh. You know, that's another thing with this time dilation I just want to make clear. You know, it gets irritating the way people talk. When your metabolism slows down, it's not like you really live longer. So even though you will live 10,000 years by comparison to somebody on Earth, let's say, those 10,000 years you are not experiencing 10,000 Earth years of experiences. Your experiences are so slow. So the point is that everything you're experiencing is just the same amount of time as you're experiencing on Earth. So the 100 years doesn't mean you can watch 10,000 years of TV or something. You're still only going to be able to watch 100 years worth of TV, or eat the regular 3 meals a day kind of thing, and all that stuff. So you're not going to eat more food, and you're not going to experience more experiences. So your longer life doesn't really mean anything because you didn't really live longer. You had the same number of moments of existence. You just did them slower. Alright. Yeah, so I'd love to hear this sophisticated interpretation. Simply wrong, disproved by empirical evidence. So what empirical evidence? Disproved by empirical evidence. So you make some kind of accusation like this. I fucking plead with you, motherfucking weaselly little cunts, to show me this empirical evidence, right? So you're saying that lensing images from the Hubble telescope, you're saying those are empirical evidence. Those evidence is above reproach. It is the best, the hardest, the greatest scientific evidence we produce. It's as good as a picture of the goddamn lunar surface. It's as good as, you know, whatever. You know, the most solid of our science. Is that your argument, shithead? Because if it is, then you're just going to prove yourself to be just a religious fanatic. Because obviously the evidence sucks. It preposterously sucks. And as soon as you hear them say, well, let me fix it with I'll rub some dark matter on it and that'll fix it. And it, of course, doesn't fix it, because then you have to explain how the dark matter stays over here and it doesn't drift by gravity. The thing it's supposed to be affected by, gravity, all of a sudden it's anti-gravity dark matter. So it's creating gravity for this area, but there's no gravitational influence anywhere else. I mean, you can't see how that's just fucking ludicrous. I mean, fuck you people. The only experimental claim you have made is with regards to the 2-slit experiment. I don't know. That isn't the only experimental claim I have made. I've explained that there's lots of other experiments you could do about that. I'm sure there's more gravity lagging behind the Earth than there is where the Earth is. So if they shoot a satellite where the Earth has been, I will argue that they'll probably find that there's a bit more gravity behind us than in front of us, which you have barely grasped in its conceptualization. Well, again, that's your accusation, and what's your penance when I prove that you're the one who never has any, you're the one that can't grasp it. It's an interference pattern, fuckhead, with the single slit. So let me do the single slit since you brought it up again. These people are just too fucking stupid. So this is the typical image of the single slit, right? And we know that all you have to do is add up this slit plus this slit. So just make this slit twice as big, and you'll get a pattern just like this, except it won't have these breaks in it. So that's the irony of it, right? It's going to be even, it'll be an even better, cleaner pattern, but you won't have these little annoying shit things in here. Now, technically, these dark spaces are supposed to be the same width. Well, how come this one's twice? It has 2 darks, and this one has 2 darks, and this is only 1 dark and only 1 dark. So how come that is existing when we know the math doesn't account for that at all? Does it? No. All right. So the point I was making is that when they measure these things, so you see this central maxima. My argument is that it's 2 of these things. That seems like a quite obvious that they have miscalculated, that there's really a dark band right here, and that the dark band isn't being realized because the single slit doesn't have an impediment in the middle, and the light that doesn't get diffracted goes straight through and it fills in where if it was just diffracted light, the diffracted light would put a band right there. But anyway, that's a minor point. So so clearly, all you have with the double slit experiment, you have 2 diffraction patterns. So if you do this with the wider slit, you get this same little dot 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 stuff. You just don't have the breaks in it here, which is the same as the single slit. So the double slit doesn't have a gap this wide in it. They don't do the experiment with a 4 or 5 millimeter impediment. I mean, that's at least a 4 or 5 millimeter impediment in the sense that the what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't matter. I'm just saying because light's by nanometers. So say if the light was 500 nanometers, you know, this would be like 4 millimeters. Anyway, by scale. So fuck you. This is an idealized. I don't know why they put this in here, because that just confuses things. I mean, that's just using the tiniest slits possible. But I don't think that's accurate either. They just made that one up. But they also tried to make up water waves, which I thought was kind of funny. So this is the single slit diffraction pattern made with water waves. You know how they did it? 3 motors. Yeah, that's how they did it. Stupid fucks. Anyway, alright, enough of that. Back to comments. Alright, grasping concept. No matter how many videos of it you have seen on YouTube, but like I said, I understand that single slit interference is what we're talking about, okay? It's an interference pattern. And if you're going to call it something other than that, then explain what produced it, because frankly, it's a pattern. It's being produced not by interference, then explain what produced it. And if it's explained, and if it was produced by interference, explain how your arbitrary creation of a fake impediment mathematically using Huygens makes any sense whatsoever, and how that happens anywhere else with any wave that is ever perpetrated in the universe. Show me any other wave anywhere that obeys Huygens' principle. You are simply wrong in claiming that the 2-slit is in its principle a double slit experiment. Well, I'm just saying it would be in principle the double slit experiment if you merely make it as wide as the 2 slits in the double slit experiment. So if you have a slit open as wide as the 2 slits in the double slit experiment, it's essentially the same exact bar pattern, jackass. The dynamics in the 2 experiments are completely different. Well, you say they're completely different. I say that's just another one of your preposterous overstatements. They're not completely different. They're completely similar. You can be shown wrong, and you have been shown wrong with. I haven't been shown anything. I've shown you single slit diffraction that has 40 bars altogether. You can see them. 40 bars. 40. At least. Visible. What made them, asshole? And if you say interference, okay, then I'm going to say, fuck you. Fuck you and your 2-slit bullshit then, because there, you don't need 2 slits. You just need a single slit, and automatically photons will interfere with themselves, and they'll choose exactly the right photon to interfere with. That's your preposterous lie of a pile of crap of a shit of a brain that you have. The photographs, well anyway, I haven't been shown anything. Show me somewhere where somebody showed me a photograph of the 2-slit experiment. Show me that, jackass! Photographs of gravitational lensing. Oh, well, there you gave yourself away there. Okay. Because really, frankly, I went through 40 different images of gravitational lensing, and not motherfucking, maybe 2 out of all of them could have been contrived as saying, okay, that might have been possible under Einstein's math. Every other one would be impossible by Einstein's math. There's no way you could bend Einstein's math to make that into gravitational lensing. And even with the creation of preposterous amounts of dark matter, it still doesn't make any sense, because the shit would have to be moving very, very fast. And so you should be able to take a photograph 20 minutes later and watch everything move its position, because it would all have to be going nearly the speed of light, because you have created so much gravity. But it is all photoshopped. I didn't say it was all photoshopped, but, you know, frankly, you'll find it, okay? I can go to the website called Hubble.org or something, and the guy has a bunch of animated images with, you know, some fake black holes, fake this, fake that. They're all faked fucking images. So he takes the actual Hubble star field, and then he runs Blender photos across it. Now, you're saying that's good for science? Well, I'm saying it isn't too good for science, because other people are using those photographs to say, look, gravitational lensing. In your worldview. It's not a worldview. It's my view of what is a science that has humiliated itself. These pompous, arrogant, obnoxious, elitist, trolly fucks of physics who have done nothing to regulate their own preposterous public masturbation. Well, I'm for that, but I'm not for what they've done. Is more disgusting than that. To not sit there and pull the reins in just a little bit on this, let's just keep making shit up to fix this broken goddamn theory, and then we'll call it the most reliable and dependable theory in the history of mankind, and it's got 17,000 places where you put duct tape on it. You fucking liars, you fucking cheats, selling this shit as hard factual truth, when you know the only thing holding it together is bullshit. The whole industry of astronomers, cosmologists, well, frankly, there's not that many of those, and particle physicists, fake evidence. Did I say they fake evidence? I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. I didn't say they fake evidence. I say they're not telling the story completely. They're telling it in a way to manufacture an impression, and even Feynman was guilty of it. Again, he said the single slit, it's just a blob over there. That's what he said. Is that being honest? He knows a single slit diffraction. He knows if he makes that single slit wider, there ain't going to be no blob. There's going to be a bunch of bars. So I'm not supposed to call that out. I'm not supposed to say that's just a totally inaccurate representation of the facts. Fuck. And advocating spooky worldview. Well, that's what they definitely are doing. As with government conspiracies, well, again, I have no patience with this conspiracy. I have made no claims about any fucking conspiracy. So again, just lie. You just show yourself to be an overt liar. Is there any complaints on any of my websites or in any of my videos claiming a conspiracy of any kind? No. And yet you claim to put conspiracy rhetoric in my mouth, you motherfucking lying cunt. So yes, you're a liar. You're a conspirer. You're conspiring to damage my character and my credibility with overt mischaracterizations and lies. That's nothing. You can't call it anything else. Go find somewhere in one of my videos where I claimed any kind of conspiracy. I claim these motherfuckers are so full of their own ego that they can't honestly do any real physics. They're fucking rubbing themselves, their own nipples, so hard, okay, that they really can't be bothered to pay any attention to what's going on in front of them. As with government conspiracies, I ask you, how can you cover up the wrongdoings for so long? I mean, even if they promise you a secured life pension in academia, there would have to be thousands of truth-loving people breaking up the conspiracy and speaking out. No, the whole fucking thing is, if you don't speak their jargon, you're not going to last in their industry, and that seems to be a truth. So you sort of have to be part of the club, or you're going to be on the outside. So you sort of have to be a gang member, and they will bludgeon you into it. They bludgeoned what was his name? Schrodinger. They bludgeoned him into accepting quantum mechanics. They bludgeoned fucking Einstein into it. They just kept nagging the fuck out of them until they say, okay, 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 it's a wave, it's a wave, it's a wave. So that's how it's done. You know, they just keep saying to somebody, you know, some question they can't answer, so it's God of the gaps. Well, there's a question. There's no missing link. Why isn't there a missing link? Okay, okay, why isn't there a missing link? Over and over, and they just keep bludgeoning them with it until they concede, okay, God must have done it. Even if the Nobel Committee were in there as well, there would be people who value truth more than money. Well, I don't know. You show me some of those. I'd be curious to see them. Besides Kevorkian, I haven't seen a decent human being on this fucking scummy planet, and you're certainly an example that there's very little hope of finding one. You and Minim don't value the truth. No, you don't value the truth. You're the one making the slanderous arguments. You're the one fucking not coming to the table with what are called facts or any kind of evidenced argument. Nothing but a bunch of bold claims that you don't back up with any motherfucking cunt evidence, you fucking piece of shit. You might have done so in the beginning. Now you only care about your ego, not being called out, having been wrong. Well, again, it's not about me being wrong. It's about you people not being able to demonstrate that you have some authority to tell me I'm wrong without any fucking evidence. Grow tired of defending utter bullshit for the time being. Well, like again, I have no I have full confidence in my integrity, jackass, and so anytime you want to take a lie detector test or something else to prove one's integrity and who's the one trying to cover up and defend your silly religion, okay? You got Moses icons shoved way up your ass and you're fucking real comfortable with that, and you don't want that to be called silly and stupid. And it's going to be called silly and stupid. You've been duped. You don't want to admit it. Well, that's your problem. See, it's so easy to do this psychoanalysis, little weasel fuck. You don't have a dick. That's your real problem. Let me tell you something in a childlike manner. I am going to win out on you. Well, not going to happen. Because I predict I'm going to die later in time than you will. Well, look, if you want to make threats about after death, I'm just saying that, yes, I'll make sure it's in my will that my fans go find out who this fucker is and take actual shits on his grave. Okay, now don't piss on his grave, shit on his grave. But you're not going to be able to find it because he's going to be a weasel and I'm not going to have a grave. So good luck with that. I'm going to get freeze-dried and be in the Museum of National History. Because I predict I'm going to die later than you. Well, go ahead and predict that. Is that one of your predictions that is proven the better predictive success and cannot possibly get better predictive success? Is that one of those predictions, weasel fuck? Yeah, fuck you. I kind of, I'm not really very... I really don't want to say, I hope I live a long time, because I really don't want to live a long time. But yes, living longer than you now would be fun, just to rub that into your little fucking corpse also. Fucking piece of shit. Die later than you. I will then have time to tell everyone how silly a person Gary Mosher was, and that was very lonely, man. Well, again, I'm not really worried. See, you think that's going to affect me somehow? That somehow you got me here or somewhere? This doesn't scare me at all. I know I'm right, asshole, so I know you're going to be the one who's going to look like the piece of shit, okay? You're going to be your icon. They'll find the real you and make a real poster child for motherfucking cunt asshole of the internet, okay? You'll be one of those fucking don't be retarded things. You'll be one of those images with little fucking phrases, cliches under it. Because you're a piece of scum. You're just a typical jackass, weaselly human. Alright? You can't have a fair fucking fight. You hide behind your anonymity, you little fucking weaselly coward, and then you make personal accusations about people. You imply that they say things they don't goddamn fucking say. You're just a piece of absolute suck. And I hope your whole family gets humiliated by your behavior. I mean, my father's not going to be rolling in his grave, and my grandfather's not going to be rolling in his grave, okay? It's your fucking ancestors going to be doing the rolling, fucker, if you believe in any of that kind of thing. It would be cool if that actually did happen, that if you could actually get to people by saying, all your ancestors are going to throw up when they hear what you're doing, something like that. It would be really cool if you could do that. But Damn. It's unfortunate that deserve has nothing to do with this thing. You're not going to get what you deserve, and that's just fucking fundamentally unfortunate, because you really, 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 really deserve to be a goddamn toilet bowl for about 5 million years and just have people shit down your motherfucking throat for the rest of your goddamn existence, because you really goddamn suck. Alright. I mean, just as using my name when you don't have the guts to even have an icon, you fucking cunt. Thinking out bullshit in order to create some artificial barrier between friend or foe. Well, these barriers aren't artificial, okay? We're clearly not friends, asshole. Yeah. If you accept the bullshit story, you are a friend. Otherwise, you are a foe. Well, again, I'm not asking anyone to accept this. I'm asking them not to make up lies and say this doesn't do this or it doesn't do that when it does do those things. So, you're not telling the truth. I don't like the story. I don't think it's true. You could say something like that and that might mean something, but to say you know it's idiotic or you know it's wrong, well, that you have to demonstrate with something called evidence, fuckhead. I'll also fly out to New Jersey and visit your grave. This is the scary thought if you ask me, and, well, I'll booby-trap it for sure. If I have a grave, it's going to be booby-trapped, fucker. And I ask myself how you want to be remembered. A man with his dignity intact, or a childlike teenager who could look through his psychology. Well, again, you're the one who's going to be on the ash heap of history. And the 6 jackasses that thumbed up this video, I'd like to get your identities also eventually, you little Weasley anonymous coward cunts. Alright, so we'll see if the Nobel, if you win a Nobel Prize, we'll see if Google will be compliant and let you know who the motherfucking scuzz was, okay, who sat there and slandered you and defended slander against you. You fucking weasels. Cowards, you dickless fucks. Oh, what a useless pile of crap. Hope you do read the latest writing, so fuck you. You can't listen, so what's the point? What's the point of reading to you? I mean, unless it's a run, spot, run book, or bite, spot, bite. Fucking stupid cunt. There's no evidence that could be sent to you that you would accept. Well, again, yes, there's plenty of evidence. You know, if you can't tell the difference between hard evidence and obscure minutia evidence, then I'm sorry for you, okay? But there is a goddamn difference, and you should know that. I mean, really, you should know that. It's hard evidence when they put, like, say, a clock, an atomic clock in an airplane and zoom it around the Earth and it comes back a second slower. That's kind of hard evidence. Something actually did fucking goddamn happen and has to be explained. Alright, but some jackass experiment claiming we detected a photon, the same photon, we labeled him Jimmy, we sent him 600-mile trip, and then we found Jimmy 600 miles away. When we know you can't detect a photon except by having it bang into a bunch of electrons and then bang into even more of them and have a fucking amplifier of electron interactions, there's no fucking way Jimmy is going to come out in those electrons and they're going to say, hey, yeah, Jimmy was here. No fucking way. Anyway, you dismiss it as crap experiment. Well, I'm sorry. If you don't know the difference, I can't help you, okay? There are really experiments that just say, fuck you, this has got to be the truth. And there's experiments that say, fuck you, there's about 7 million unaccounted for presumptions built into this nonsense equipment here. You do what? What? The photons, you're measuring the same photon. It bounced off 4 mirrors, went through this, went through that, then this integrated circuit, we know they're brilliant, detected it. Through what mechanism exactly? There's no real good way to detect a photon. You idiots still don't understand that, but it really depends on causing a chain reaction among electrons to amplify its existence. So you have to have it first crash into an electron, then have that electron be in a position where it's going to cause other electrons to vibrate, and then other ones, and then other ones. And that's not a controlled fucking chain reaction. I mean, people just, you just won't concede to reality. I mean, I can't help you. If you, like I said, you think of this crap, like I said, they fucking in these stupid accelerators, they create a fucking thing that lasts for a billionth of a second, and you say, yes, it's a thing. A billionth of a second. So it's like naming miscarried children or something. I mean, it's idiotic. Oh, little Jimmy was born a completely undeveloped fetus. Fuck. Crap experiment, another excuse to come up with. Well, whatever. Oh yeah, it's crap with crap instruments or something, right? Well, I'm just saying that the point is that yes, it was crap. Okay, nobody really could do a counter analysis, and the fact that it was done by a guy who was so fucking horny to prove relativity does give you reason to be a little I mean, if that doesn't give you reason to say, okay, we got to do a little better than that, that's all I'm saying. You have to do a little better than that. That's not a reasonable reason to say you have to do better than that. Einstein's essentially his best friend proves the existence of something with evidence that nobody else could analyze because it was so bad. Gravitational lensing. Oh, crap evidence. Got it. Well, I'm just saying, well, go ahead. Show me the orbital lensing. Go ahead. Show me the sun bending something called light, and then show me any one of these stupid Hubble telescope images, and you show me the one that's hard evidence. Show it to me. Show me the hard evidence of gravitational lensing. Show me the image, and I'll point out how soft it is. Orbit of Mercury, blah, blah, blah. Well, the orbit of Mercury is just about the precession of Mercury, and that just has to do with some sort of, number deal, okay? Because everything's got to be created by an initial, entrance into its orbit, and then there's all this vibrational crap happening, and the closer you are to the sun, it's that Brownian motion thing again, right? The sun's doing this, and obviously the closer you are to the sun, the more that is going to affect you, but it's not going to affect you if you're fucking goddamn Pluto, right? You can't understand that? So yeah, Einstein figured out the Brownian motion of the sun. Well, okay, great, but that's not exactly an excuse to believe in bent space or bent time. Fuckhead. I mean, the thing with Mercury has really nothing to do with bent space or bent time. I mean, it's really not part of the calculation. It doesn't apply to anything else. It really doesn't. Oh, it's crap. It's crap instruments. There's something, gravitational lens, Mercury, blah, blah, blah. Relation between time and speed. GPS again, so I'm not going to do this, all right? The next person, you bring this up again, I'm just going to delete the comment. I'm the one who has demonstrated the relationship between velocity and the degrading of metabolism, atomic metabolism. All right, any evidence of time dilation or velocity causing a degrade in the function of metabolism demonstrates my theory, retard, is proof of my theory, retard. Not proof of Einstein's theory, it proves my theory. You don't prove time or fucking space being bent by any of that stuff. Show me how I need to bend space to explain time dilation. I don't. My theory explains it, fucking liar. It's not relativity, it's metabolism. Whatever the fuck that means. Well, if you don't know what it means, well, just fuck off then, okay? What, do you want me to just block you? Just fuck off. I mean, I really have explained it, okay? You want to just laugh at the explanation, you want to dismiss it, you don't want to argue with it quite clearly, but clearly we're made of orbits, jackass. And it seems kind of rational to realize that if the orbit has to move, it can't be doing the same amount of orbiting, jackass. That's not terribly complex a concept. I mean, I've given you metaphors of fish swimming. I mean, if the fish are swimming like this, and all of a sudden they have to go some other direction, they can't be doing figure eights as fast, can they? I've given you the analogy of a person dancing. If I ask you to dance as fast as you motherfucking cunt can, and then I tell you to move stage left 20 miles an hour, you're obviously not going to be able to dance as fast. Is that true or is that false, you dumb fuck? Whatever that means. Fuck off! At the same time, you don't hold your own theory to even a sliver of these standards. Well, fuck you. Zero evidence. Well, again, I've only shown the evidence. The only thing standing in the way of my theory, I don't need any evidence because every real fact ever collected in the history of mankind, my theory is consistent with. My theory says, yes, I can explain why magnets are attracted to each other and why magnets are repulsed from each other. Every bit of experimental evidence validates my theory, you stupid fuck. Except these obscure, useless, synthetic crap experiments at the speed of light that you can't move matter that fast, and my arguments against redshift and my arguments against lensing. But every other experiment validates my theory, stupid fuck. Oh, God, you're just so... You people are just fucking so stupid. Recent evidence. Recent evidence of what? Time dilation. Right, I've already proven that. Deep space test. Recent tests that prove Einstein right. Einstein right about what? I mean, you can't even give the explanation of what you're proving Einstein right about. Einstein, nearly 100 years ago, published Einstein's theory was held up to the testing, and the tests keep coming. Here's 5 recent recent tests that prove what? Again, if it's proving time dilation, that's not proving Einstein right. It doesn't prove that bent space creates time dilation. It doesn't prove you can bend space. It doesn't believe that space actually exists as something that can be bent. I mean, you come up with this fucking leprechaun theory, and then you tell me I'm the one who has to fucking be defensive, and I have to prove something. Where has fucking Einstein proven his fucking leprechaun of bent fucking space, or bent fucking time? That leprechaun has never been proven to exist. Fucking cunts. Alright, anyway. Time dilation. Okay, so that's the one again. Again, my theory proves time dilation, demonstrates it, gives you a fully understandable equation for it. The more speed of light that comes in, the speed of light is calculated over the total mass, and that'll tell you its velocity. So any imbalance in force going in, you just add up how much force went in, you calculate over the mass of the object, and that'll dictate your velocity. Jackass. And your time dilation. Quite obviously. So fuck you. Lying cunt. Let's see, you can't plug these camcorders into an outlet, by the way. Yeah, fuck you. Yeah, quite obviously. Look, it's a brick battery. See? Lithium. The problem is that the camera, the little prongs that hit the battery compress over time, so they don't make very good contact. And the same is true of the charger. So I believe I have corrected it well enough anyway. It's just, I don't know, like I said, it's copper, but they make lousy contact. I mean, I've tried acid, I've tried all kinds of things, but the contacts just suck. So it's like shit copper or something. It's like Chinese copper. I was going to say even USB may help, just get a webcam. No, fuck you. I mean, whatever. I don't need this advice. I have a webcam, idiot, right here. A little fucking shitty white. It's on a fucking goddamn cord. It's kind of a pain in the ass, so fuck you. I discovered Miles last night and reviewed some documents on double slit. It's kind of scary to think all those great minds of 50 plus years never considered the table and walls of the experiment. I don't know about the table. Both walls. And of course, so many variations on the experiment. Just learned Freeman Dyson. Yeah, well, that gets a little complex. Freeman Dyson. Fuck that. I hope you like it. Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, you know, it gets into all this. Dyson was, it's all the interior of the atom kind of stuff. I mean, that'll just rot your brain. Theoretically, you invented new conspiracy theory. No, I didn't. So I'm just going to delete you. Fuck you. Just so sick of this shit. I mean, it's just so stupid. The fact that I say science has been full of a bunch of religious assholes, you know, and that they've never really done their job, which is to be scientists. They just said somebody came along with leprechaun theory, and they just, well, okay, and they just went with it, and they never paid even any attention. Even though Feynman was saying, it doesn't make sense, it sounds silly, it sounds like we're all on crack. Oh yeah, well, that's not a good thing, is it? Yeah, so he should have said, wait, that's not a good thing. Yeah, maybe we should, no, okay, we're going to shut up for a while, and we're going to go back to the drawing board and see if we can do better than this bullshit, because, yeah, this doesn't make any fucking sense. Wavy photons. Fuck that. Alright, acceleration isn't about speed. Well, then you're an idiot, okay, because really, you can't accelerate your matter without something inside of you speeding up, so either you have to spin faster, or something has to happen. The acceleration has to manifest in some form that will inevitably lead to a propensity to move. But about changing velocity, well, again, the velocity and acceleration. Acceleration is just the acquisition of velocity. So acceleration is the process of acquiring velocity. So it isn't, you can't just say it changes velocity, because it has to do it incrementally across a scale. So time gets involved. So it's just silly. I don't, what do you want me to say? Okay, I mean, you're going to tell me what acceleration is, and that somehow acceleration is some sort of thing that you automatically have. Well, you don't automatically have it. And in the circumstance where you already have an existing velocity, yes, your acceleration will take away from that velocity or add to that velocity, in the sense that you will either change the direction of it, which is this, I don't know how to, it's still moving. You see that, that direction thing is still moving something. Which means that if the velocity changes direction, then it's under acceleration. Well, again, it's under acceleration in the sense of like the Earth, because the direction continually has to be changed, and so the acceleration keeps getting used up. It never turns into velocity. It never adds anything significant to the Earth's velocity, except for when the sun gets, the Earth gets really close to the sun, then the velocity increases, and when it gets farthest away, it slows down. Because the amount of acceleration is deflecting the Earth less. It's changing its velocity direction less. So you can't, I guess that's the thing. So again, it's about the vector of its velocity, but you can't just say which is a vector. Velocity isn't just a vector, it's momentum in a vector. It's movement in a vector. I mean, you can't take the movement out of it, jackass. Changing magnitude is not the only way that velocity can change. Well, again, one of the two things is changed, right? Either the speed of the velocity is changed, or the direction of the velocity is changed by some other acceleration. But it has to change one of those two things. Fucking asshole. I doubt most people think of acceleration. Oh, this is the superior mind, guys. Continue your good work and such, but I'm not going to read the positive comments. I didn't say any model has been proven. Oh, I'm not going to go through this shit with you fucking goddamn assholes and reread your goddamn fucking idiotic comments. You basically implied that we are on some forever search for the truth, that we'll never have answers and blah 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 blah. That was the implication of your bullshit. And we do figure out things, and we figure out things rock solid, like the Earth is not flat and all that kind of shit. And I'm just so sick of you fuckers saying we can't have a good model. Yes, we can have a good model. We can have a model that's really excellent, actually. That we can plug this whole fucking thing into a goddamn computer and watch the universe happen, you stupid shit. Experimental verification doesn't prove any theory. Well, I'm just saying proof is a matter of reason. Okay, so it does. If you frankly have an experiment that's rock solid and simple, it'll prove the theory in the sense that it provides it completes the explanation, and it provides no room for somebody to invent any other explanation. There's no room for Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny can't fit into the experiment, so you can't fuck it up in some way. So it takes away all alternative explanations. At the same time, it provides a complete answer. That's what proof is, you stupid fuck. It only provides evidence for the theory. Well, evidence is what proof is made out of, you idiot. So again, you just don't even know what you just don't conceptually understand the world we live in and the meaning of words. I mean, to say something this stupid, that somehow evidence isn't what proof is. I mean, fuck, that's just idiotic. You think mathematics is something. Mathematics is more vulnerable than mechanical models to failure. Because you leave something out of the mathematics, okay? Some element of like steel, okay, melting. There's a whole point where steel gets into a fuzzy phase, where it's neither solid nor a liquid, and it's like a plasma stage, whatever you're, and completely different thermodynamics. The structure of the steel is completely changed when it's in that flux, so to speak. Now, if you have a mathematical theory that doesn't know that doesn't have that written into it, then your mathematical theory will think, well, I can just keep heating the steel because it'll get to some point where it'll, the transition is going to be some clean transition. And it's not a clean transition. Things go through phases based on frequencies. Different frequencies have more impact. All that stuff has to be written into the equation. So your mathematics doesn't mean shit if it doesn't have, it's got to be just as detailed. It's got to, in a sense, got to be more detailed because the mistakes it can make are just so overt and grotesque because it can't see them. It can't just look at it and say, oh, fuck, you got that way out of proportion, like we can. Proof doesn't exist in science, but in mathematics only. Well, that's the silliest thing. So again, if that's how you think the world works, mathematics is a model. It's just the formula is just demonstrating a relationship, right? Maybe there's a relationship between big brains and big dicks, okay, statistically. Then you write a formula up about the extent of the relationship, and then you can use the formula to find out what the total length of IQ is versus the total length of penis. I mean, that's all it's doing. It's a relationship, shithead. It's not the fucking truth in some kind of big way that this is the way you find the truth is by adding fucking 4 plus 4. You don't. Mathematicians wouldn't fix your car, you shithead. You need a mechanic who has years of experience and who knows all the little bullshitty-isms, that when this thing has grease on it, you'll never be able to unscrew it, or when this thing is this way, there's a ton of little bits that a mathematical model isn't going to tell you, that I can see a little bit of corrosion on the aluminum wiring going from the alternator and blah, 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 blah. No, it's not going to tell you what that means, asshole. No model will ever be complete. This is implied by the work of Gödel. Whatever. Fuck you, Gödel. Yeah, whatever. Gödel. This is what I've heard him pronounce this. But anyway, fuck you. I mean, it's just stupid, okay? Yeah, the fact that you can't model the entire universe, but it's not like no model will ever be complete. That's just stupid. 2 plus 2. I could model that, and that's a complete model. Light reflects. Oh, that's it. Okay. Clocks at different lengths have different velocities. Clocks at different heights have different velocities. Yeah. Obviously, the one at the bottom is moving slower because it's going faster, which is the irony. So higher ones are moving faster, and this should be slower. No. It's exactly backwards. Stronger gravity, higher velocity. So even though it doesn't look like we're going faster because we're in the harder gravity, which means we're vibrating, oscillating much quicker. So we're traveling a lot more distance technically than something higher up, which is oscillating much slower. So we're actually time dilated on the surface. You can't get any more time dilated in Earth's gravity than on the surface of the Earth. Everywhere else is less dilated, and the only way you can become more dilated is to go really, really fast. Not just fast, but really, really fast. You wouldn't be able to stay in any kind of orbit and go fast enough to be time dilated relative to something on the Earth, because as you go further out, your acceleration, your gravitational acceleration gets weaker and weaker. So technically you have less and less velocity, total velocity. How do they exchange polarization? Alright, so this is the one that really pissed me off. He's already asked this inane, stupid question, and I already answered the stupid fucking question. And then he asks it again, and it's a stupid detail that doesn't matter. Right? We're talking about the little kinetic interactions, right? I state them as rules. These are the rules. Head-on collisions, this way, one goes one way, one goes the other way, blah, blah, blah. I already explained it. And there's just simple rules to it, okay? It doesn't matter what shape, how exactly they hit each other. And I already explained this. Again, I gave an answer to this goddamn fucking question. Like, how is it that they always seem to be able to collide with clean contact? It's irrelevant. In pure kinetics, it doesn't matter what your shape is. any contact, because there's nothing flexible, nothing that can bend or be tensioned, nothing that can elastic. It's entirely kinetic. So all I have to do is hit. I could have every one of these stupid little photons could have a 500-foot fucking pole sticking in its head, like a unicorn or something, and only the little tiny pole ends hit or something. It just doesn't goddamn matter. All the force goes through the point of impact, and it doesn't matter how minuscule the point of impact is. And it doesn't matter on what side of their body it is. It doesn't matter where it is. It's 100% kinetic. No elasticity, no absorbing impacts in any way, no half deflecting. So it only 100% exchanges direction through the interaction. That's real kinetics, jackass. And I've already said this, and they ask me the same fucking question again. It's just so fucking irritating. Collide with clean contacts as if spheres only acting, exchanging kinetic information when they lack spherical symmetry. Well, again, you don't need to be you don't have to have spherical symmetry, all right, if you're a rock solid hard body, okay? If there's nothing flexible on you, there's nothing that can bend or torque or twist or in any other way move, then there's no possibility for you to do anything but completely and 100% kinetically interact. Stupid shit. I don't know why the icon hasn't changed. Well, I had some troll who was imitating him or something. Who cares? Oh, God. Yeah, so he's going to keep talking to him, no doubt. So I asked him, how does space-time bend, retard? How do photons wave, fuckhead? None of my questions get answered, so he can keep asking me inane minutia questions about shit that just couldn't possibly matter to this overall unification theory. And he's never asked of Einstein, well, tell me exactly, how do you do this thing where space is held together somehow and you bend it in time? How does time held together? How do you bend time? That doesn't make any sense. No, that's okay with you. So you'll accept a complete leprechaun theory, fine. Alright? And you're going to argue with me about what fucking shape the tiniest thing in the universe is. Like, how the fuck would I know? You can't figure that out, jackass? That I don't have some kind of magic laboratory here in the palm of my hand that I work in where I can see photons and I can see gravitons? Quite obviously, I have to just surmise it. And I use the surmise of comparing it to light photons that are filtered by a bar pattern, you jackass. And I'm just doing the logical surmising that, well, if they're getting filtered, then I guess some of them must be going this way and some of them must be going that way because they get through the bars and some of them don't get through the bars. Is that too fucking goddamn deducive of me? I mean, it's not a legitimate and a complete enough answer. You need a more complete answer than they're shaped a certain way and one shape goes through vertical bars and the other shape doesn't go through vertical bars. Durr. That's not a complete enough answer for now? Yeah, I think it's a complete enough answer. Fucking shithead. In comparison to, let's just invent space-time and we'll just make it full of all this powerful energy to move planets into fucking suns endlessly. They can throw them all day long. They got, over there in space-time, they got so much energy and gasoline and oil supply, they could just keep pushing planets around all the fucking time. They don't give a rat's ass if they got a ton of oil. I don't mean to nitpick. Yeah, you do, you fucking shit. But when you say tangential, don't you mean perpendicular? It probably, alright. I mean, I probably should just say perpendicular because the dimensions are, strictly speaking, perpendicular. But obviously 100% tangential, right? Something that's completely tangential would have to be perpendicular, right? There's no other, you can't get more tangential than 90-degree perpendicular, right? That is like the most tangential anything could ever get is 90-degree perpendicular, right? Can't get farther away, in a sense, than in that other dimension. Right? Right. So technically I'm right, but I'll probably change it. As to nitpicking on other video, in this video you criticize conventional physics for saying it just does it. Well, again, I'm not saying it just does it. I'm giving you a reasonable approximation for the smallest thing in the universe. You're expecting me to give you an explanation of the dynamics of the smallest thing in the universe from this house, this fucking ratty cottage. I have magic instruments and magic powers, and I can see the magic shape of the fucking magic filters. We know of the concept of polarization, jackass. Me saying the concept of polarization exists is hardly saying it just does. I mean, that's just bullshit. We know it's a filter. We know things are shaped that go through the filter and things that are shaped that they don't go through the filter. It's not that fucking complex. I mean, to say it just does, that's not exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying there's clearly a relationship between some property that the thing has and the filtering material. Gee, hardly a leap, you motherfucking cunt, and hardly the same thing as saying space just bends. If I can't ask, yeah, well, you say it's legitimate. Go ahead. Show me where you're asking any legitimate questions of this goddamn established loony theory of your fucking goddamn singularities, your goddamn spooky action at a distance, your motherfucking bent space, your fucking terrible lensing experiments. Why don't you, for a change, start saying quite overtly and loudly, there's a whole lot wrong with this established motherfucking cunt theory of reality. It sucks. And until you have the balls to say that, stay the fuck away from me, you stupid weasel, okay? Because this nitpicky bullshit is bullshit in light of the fact that their evidence sucks. So it's not a legitimate question, you cunt. And especially since I already answered it, you stupid cunt. Alright? It's 100% kinetic. It doesn't matter what shape it is. So the fucking feature of polarization has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that it is a 100% kinetic reaction. If I can't ask legitimate questions about how discs can behave so spherical, how they can precisely change their polarization, how are you different? Well, again, if you can't see the difference, you're too fucking stupid and you're too big a waste of my goddamn time. If you can't see how this is inane, insensible minutia to expect me to describe the smallest motherfucking thing in the universe when you don't ask Einstein to explain the most powerful energy source in the universe, I will just bend fucking space and create enough energy to throw goddamn galaxies into fucking other galaxies. And you don't have to account for any of it, Einstein. That's right. Just give us that free energy all the day long. Fuck you.